The class group chat popped up with that silver-blue promotional image just as I was waking up to the wind on the rooftop. The picture showed Europa's ice plains, a transparent dome pressed against the thick ice shell, with Jupiter looming in the distance like a giant eye, coldly suspended in the black sky. At the center of the dome stood a long table piled with glowing shellfish, ice-blue langoustines, translucent crab legs, and a pot of low-temperature algae soup shimmering with silver foam. The top line of text was elegantly written, "The last relaxation before the college entrance exam, Europa Ice Sea Seafood Festival, eat away the stress." The next second, Wang Yuyu sent 3 firework emojis in the group chat. "My dad has contacted the travel agency. 1 week before the college entrance exam, a 7-day round trip to Europa. The whole class goes together, returns just in time for the exam, and hits peak performance." The group chat exploded instantly. Holy crap, Jupiter's moon, Europe, really eating seafood on an alien planet before the college entrance exams. Wouldn't that make for an amazing essay topic? Wang Yuyu, you're absolutely incredible. Now this is what youth is all about. I stared at the screen, my fingertips growing cold, not because of shock, because I had seen this image before in my previous life. Also 1 week before the college entrance exam, Wang Yuyu organized the whole class to go to Europa for seafood. She said you shouldn't stay tense all the time before the college entrance exams. She said those who truly know how to take exams understand the importance of relaxation. She also mentioned that the Europa Ice Sea Seafood Festival is this year's hottest graduation season project, not just ordinary tourism, but high-quality psychological adjustment. The whole class was convinced by her words. Lu Chen also at me in the group chat, "Xunyan, you should come along too, don't always keep yourself so tense. Lu Chen is my boyfriend, at least at that time. I thought he was. The moment I saw the itinerary, I knew something was wrong." 1 week before the college entrance exam, round trip across Jupiter's orbit, enclosed spacecraft, artificial day-night cycles, low-gravity observation pods, Jupiter radiation protection zones, and the so-called Europa Ice Sea Seafood Festival. The seafood in the promotional images isn't wild-caught directly from beneath Europa's ice layers. It's clearly stated in the travel contract, Europa. Low-temperature ecological pod-cultivated seafood, raised using subglacial seawater mineral composition simulation solution and special algae feed. Approved for consumption by general visitors, not college entrance exam candidates. Nor is it a group of high school students about to enter the exam hall, whose routines cannot be disrupted and whose stomachs must not have the slightest issue. That night, I didn't sleep. I searched through over a dozen pages of material and compiled a risk assessment table: space travel fatigue, disrupted artificial day-night cycle, muscle soreness after low-gravity activities, return journey dizziness, sudden changes in dietary structure. Low-temperature ecological chamber aquaculture may cause gastrointestinal discomfort in individuals. Avoid long-distance travel, overeating, and altering sleep schedules in the week before exams. I also specifically circled those few lines of fine print in the travel contract. Due to individual adaptation differences causing dizziness, nausea, diarrhea, vomiting, sleep disturbances, or short-term attention decline, our company only provides basic medical assistance and assumes no responsibility for exam results. Before dawn, I sent the materials to the homeroom teacher. After reviewing them, the homeroom teacher notified the parents that same day. The parent group chat erupted in chaos. The trip was cancelled. The entire class spent the last week diligently staying at school to review. They successfully took the college entrance exam. No one had diarrhea, no one vomited, no one was absent from the exam, no one filled in the wrong answer sheet due to dizziness during the test. But on the day the results were released, Wang Yuyu cried. Her total score was more than 20 points lower than usual, falling short of her dream university in the capital. At the farewell banquet for teachers, she held a wine glass, her eyes red as if she had suffered the greatest injustice. If I had gone to Europa back then, I definitely wouldn't be so depressed now. In the last week before the college entrance exams, I couldn't sleep every night. Xunyan, do you know, you didn't just ruin a trip, You ruined my chance to reset myself. I stood frozen in place. I thought someone would speak up for me after all. That risk assessment form had been reviewed by the homeroom teacher and the parents. After all, they all safely made it to the exam hall. Yet the entire table of classmates remained silent. Someone lowered their head to pick at the food, someone pretended to look at their phone, someone whispered, "Actually, going out to relax isn't a big deal." Another person said, "Shunyan was indeed being a bit too serious back then." Lu Chen sat next to Wang Yuyu. He didn't look at me. He only handed the tissue to her, his voice unbearably gentle. "Stop crying." I watched him. "Do you also think it's my fault, Lu Ken?" He finally looked up. That glance, I still remember it to this day. Annoyance, disappointment, and a hint of inexplicable pity. "It's not like I saved them, it's more like I'm the sinner who ruined their youth." "Shunyan, you're always like this," he said. "You want to control everything. You just wanted everyone to have a good time for once. But you had to escalate things to the homeroom teacher and parents. You got the guaranteed admission. Of course you wouldn't understand how stressful it is for those of us who actually have to take the exams." It wasn't until later that I found out Wang Yuyu had been telling people behind my back that I was jealous of her ever since the trip was cancelled. She said I couldn't stand her stealing the spotlight. She claimed I was afraid that if the whole class went to Europe, they'd return in such great form that it would overshadow me. The direct admit student. What's even more ridiculous is that many people believed it. During the latter half of the graduation banquet, they went to the hotel rooftop to take photos. Wang Yuyu cried, saying I had ruined her life. Lu Chen, his eyes red from drinking, pushed me to the edge of the rooftop. "Why must you always stand in the way? Why do you insist on molding everyone into what you want them to be?" I said, "I'm just afraid something might happen to you." He let out a laugh. "Something happen? Shunyan, the biggest thing that's happened to us is you ruining our college entrance exams." He reached out and bumped into me before my heel stepped into empty air. I saw Wang Yuyu standing at the back of the crowd. She didn't rush over, neither did the other classmates. They watched as if a loathsome shadow had finally vanished from before their eyes. When the wind rushed into my ears, all I heard was Lu Chen's hoarse voice saying, "This time, no one is left for you to control." When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the moment when the class group chat popped up with the promotional image. Wang Yuyu is still spamming the feed. Lu Chen is still tagging me. "Shunyan, you should come along too, Don't always be the one who spoils the fun." I looked at those two sentences and suddenly laughed. This time, I didn't open the search page, didn't check travel risks, didn't organize any materials, not sent to the homeroom teacher. I only replied once in the group chat, "I'm not going." The group chat fell silent for a few seconds. Wang Yuyu immediately sent a sad emoji. Shunyan, why are you like this again?" Lu Chen also sent me a private message. "What do you mean by that?" I replied to him, literal meaning. He quickly called me. I didn't answer. He sent a message. "You kindly organized a relaxation activity for everyone. If you don't want to go, just don't go. No need to report it to the teacher behind our backs again." I stared at the word again for a long time. Reincarnation is a strange thing. Things that never happened in their memories are etched into my very bones. I type slowly. "Don't worry, I won't stop you this time." Lu Chen replies swiftly, "You'd better mean what you say." I didn't reply again. I only added one more sentence in the class group chat. "Interstellar travel before the college entrance exams is at your own risk. I won't participate, nor will I comment on anyone's choices." After sending it, I took a screenshot to archive it. Then I placed the phone face down on the desk. The classroom was already as noisy as if graduation had come early. Wang Yuyu stood by the podium, showing everyone the itinerary on her tablet. "We are following an official graduation trip itinerary, with voluntary parental authorization, not organized by the school. Day 1, depart from Earth, transfer to the Jupiter Express at Lunar Orbital Port. Day 2, arrive at Jupiter Transfer Station. Day 3, enter the Europa Ice Layer Sightseeing Zone. The 4th day is the Ice Sea Seafood Festival. The 5th day is the return trip. Arrived in the early morning the day before the college entrance exam. Went back to school during the day for pre-exam reminders, and took the test the very next day." She spoke extremely fluently. "It's not an adventure before the college entrance exam, but a carefully packaged declaration of victory. Someone asked, "Isn't it too rushed?" Wang Yuyu immediately smiled, "Precisely because it's before the exam. That's why we must go. Don't you think we're all too tense right now? Cramming in the last week might get us a few extra points, but is it worth it? Change the scenery, gaze at Jupiter, try some different foods. It really opens up your perspective. After we come back, we'll have plenty of material for our essays." There was another round of cheers in the classroom. Lu Chen entered through the back door, holding 2 bottles of drinks. One was placed on Wang Yoyo's desk, the other was placed on my desk. "Really not going?" I stared at that bottle of drink. In my past life, I thought this was his way of caring for me. Only later did I learn that he had bought one for Wang Yuyu too. Just that Wang Yoyo's bottle was warm, mine was chilled. I didn't touch it. Lu Chen frowned. "Xunyan, stop being temperamental." "I'm not." "Then why won't you go?" "I got recommended for admission. I just want to sleep at home." As soon as these words were spoken, several people around turned to look. Recommended admission, these were the 2 words they least liked to hear, because I don't have to take the college entrance exam, because I don't have to squeeze onto that single plank bridge with them, so whatever I say sounds like empty talk without feeling the pressure. Wang Yuyu indeed bit her lip. "Xunyan, I know you've secured early admission, so you might think the college entrance exam isn't that important." Her voice wasn't loud, but it was enough for those around to hear. "But we're different. We really need to get our act together. You don't want to go, I respect that. But can you not ruin it for everyone else?" That was such a beautifully crafted statement in my past life. When I heard this, I rushed to explain, desperate to prove I wasn't a killjoy. I said traveling carries high risks. I said you shouldn't mess with your diet before the college entrance exams. I said the contract includes a disclaimer clause. I said you shouldn't gamble a decade of education on one viral travel experience. Then they said I was controlling, that I was a killjoy, that I was jealous. Now, I just nod. Fine. Wang Yuyu froze for a moment. "What? I won't interfere with everyone." I turned the phone screen toward her. "That's the sentence I just posted in the group. Interstellar travel before the college entrance exam is at your own risk. I won't participate, nor will I comment on anyone's choices. I've already said it." The classroom fell silent for a moment. Lu Chen looked at me, his frown deepening. He probably didn't expect me to be so easy to talk to. Wang Yuyu didn't expect it either. The whole set of grievances she had prepared suddenly had no use after a few seconds. She finally smiled. "That's good." Someone nearby spoke in a sarcastic tone. Xunyan finally came to his senses. "Should have done this long ago. A student with guaranteed admission. They don't need to relax. It's just as well she's not going, or we'd have to listen to her safety lectures the whole way." I lowered my head and flipped through the book. Not a single word of rebuttal. When the homeroom teacher came in, the class had already nearly finished tallying the list of participants. 42 people. 39 had signed up. Besides me, 2 other students from average family backgrounds didn't go. When the homeroom teacher heard about this, her expression clearly changed. "Going to Europe 1 week before the Gaokao. Do you know what time this is?" Wang Yuyu was well prepared. She projected the travel agency's qualifications, the template for parental consent forms, the itinerary, and the medical support plan onto the big screen one by one. "Teacher, we all volunteered for this. This isn't organized by the school. It's a graduation season interstellar study trip arranged by parents. My parents checked with the travel agency. This route is very well established. Besides, mental state before the college entrance exams is crucial too. We're not fooling around. We're adjusting." Lu Chen also stood up. "Teacher, we've been studying for over a decade. Relaxing during the final week isn't a bad thing. Everyone's under a lot of pressure. Besides, we can return by dawn. The day before the college entrance exam. With a full day to adjust, it won't delay the exam." The homeroom teacher's expression darkened further. "The school does not recommend any long-distance travel before the college entrance exam." Wang Yuyu immediately responded, "So we're not signing up in the school's name. All parents will sign. The travel agency will also provide physical fitness advisories for everyone." "Teacher, these are all decisions we've made jointly with our parents." The homeroom teacher looked at me. That glance was very familiar to me because he knew I was usually the most cautious, because he knew I would research and consider things more thoroughly than others. In my previous life, it was under this gaze that I stood up and took out those dozen or so pages of risk assessment forms. This time, I didn't speak up first. The homeroom teacher asked, "Shunyan, what do you think?" The entire classroom fell silent. Wang Yuyu stared at me. Lu Chen also looked at me. They seemed to be waiting for me to jump into the pit that had already been dug. I closed the book. "Teacher, I won't be participating." The homeroom teacher frowned. "I'm asking for your opinion on this matter," I said. "This is something they decided together with their parents. I have no objections." Wang Yuyu let out a sigh of relief. A flicker of pride flashed in Lu Chen's eyes, but the homeroom teacher stared at me for a long time. He probably sensed something was off after all. The old Shunyan wouldn't have been so silent, but I had already stepped aside. He finally said, "The school does not organize, recommend, or assume responsibility for the trip. All participants must have their parents sign in person. Travel agency risk warnings must be confirmed item by item. Students bear full responsibility for the consequences of the college entrance exam." Wang Yuyu immediately nodded. "No problem." That afternoon, there was a stir in the parents' group. Some people felt it was inappropriate, others thought the children were under too much pressure and needed to relax. Someone said the travel agency contacted by the Wang family was reliable. Some say interstellar short trips have matured now, and going to Europa is about the same as studying abroad in the past. No need to make a fuss. Most importantly, Wang Yoyo's mom posted a long message in the group chat. "The kids have endured over a decade of hard study. If the final week is filled only with stress and anxiety, it could actually hinder their performance, our Yuyu has always advocated for healthy exam preparation and broadening horizons. This trip is not a joke, but a high-quality psychological adjustment before the exam." Then, she sent the travel agency's qualification certificate. She also sent several photos of past graduates posing together in the Europa viewing cabin. The students in the photos were all smiling brightly. No one would have thought about whether they took the exam after returning, whether they had diarrhea, whether they suffered from insomnia, whether they accidentally filled in an entire row of wrong options on the answer sheet. Beautiful photos won't tell you these things. At night, Lu Chen came to find me. He stood downstairs of my house, still holding that student representative confirmation letter in his hand. "Shunyan, I'm asking you one last time. Are you going or not?" I stood at the stairwell entrance and didn't invite him up. "Not going." "What exactly are you being so stubborn about?" "I'm not being stubborn." Lu Chen stared at me. "Do you feel unhappy because we didn't listen to you?" I smiled. "Lu Chen, you're overthinking it." His brows furrowed. "Then why didn't you even include a risk warning?" That sentence nearly made me laugh out loud. So they knew I would include a risk warning. They also knew that this matter wasn't entirely without risk. They just wanted me to investigate, wanted me to remind, wanted me to take responsibility if nothing happens. They say I'm a killjoy if something happens. They say I didn't stop it. "Didn't you say you didn't like me interfering?" Lu Chen's expression froze for a moment. "Shunyan, can you please stop being so sharp with your words?" "No." He took a deep breath. "Yo-Yo is already very upset. She feels like you look down on the events she organizes. That's her business. You weren't like this before." "What was I like before?" I looked at him and asked word by word. "I was the one who gathered information for you, took the blame for you, shielded you from risks. And in the end, you still complain that I meddled too much." Lu Chen froze. "What are you talking about?" I averted my gaze. "Nothing." He handed me the confirmation form. I signed it as the student representative. The travel agency said they need a student representative to confirm that everyone has read the risk warning. A young girl like you shouldn't have to bear all the pressure alone. I looked at the document at the top. It read, Europa Graduation Season Interstellar Study Tour. Student Voluntary Travel Representative Confirmation Form. There are a few lines of very small text below. I have read the travel agency's risk notice and confirm that I have conveyed it to my fellow students, I confirm that this trip is voluntarily entrusted by parents and independently registered by students, I am aware that interstellar travel may cause short-term physical adaptation reactions. At the signature line was Lu Chen's flamboyant and flourishing name. I nodded. Not bad. Lu Chen frowned. What kind of tone is that? You're so responsible. He caught the sarcasm in my tone, his expression darkening. Shunyan, you'll regret this. I paused mid-step. In my previous life, I heard those words too, right at the end. Back then, he stood on the rooftop, eyes bloodshot, saying I would regret it. And I did regret it. I regretted saving them. This time, I won't. On the day of departure, the school gate was bustling like a spring outing. The travel agency sent 3 levitating buses to pick people up. The sides of the buses were covered with silver blue advertisements. Europa Ice Seafood Festival. Eat your stress beside Jupiter. Wang Yuyu, wearing a white windbreaker with her hair tied in a high ponytail, stood in the center of the crowd taking photos. Lu Chen stood beside her, carrying her bag. A girl shouted, "Shunyan is here." Everyone turned their heads. I was carrying my backpack, about to enter the school gate. Wang Yuyu waved at me with a smile. "Shunyan, are you really not going?" I nodded. She sighed on purpose. "Then you'll just have to check our social media circles." Someone nearby laughed. "Shunyan is such a steady person. No need for the universe to broaden her horizons. Those gifted students, they can win just by drinking hot water at home. By the time we come back, we'll be in top form, so she better not regret it." I smiled too. "Have fun." That was sincere. The more fun you have, the more you'll blame others later. The homeroom teacher stood beside the bus, his expression remaining unpleasant. He held the parent-signed confirmation forms, checking them one by one. When it came to Lu Chen's turn, he asked in a low voice, "Do your parents know this is 1 week before the college entrance exam?" Lu Chen nodded. "They know." "Do they know the travel contract states they assume all physical adaptation risks themselves?" "I know." "Do you know the school advises against traveling?" Lu Chen glanced at me. "We know, but we volunteer." The homeroom teacher handed the document back. Lu Chen, "Ah. You the student representative signatory?" "Yes." "Have you confirmed that the risk notice has been communicated to your fellow students?" Lu Chen paused for a moment. Wang Yuyu watched him from the side. He quickly straightened his back. "Confirmed." The homeroom teacher didn't speak again, just asked him to sign. I stood at the school gate, watching them get on the bus one by one. Wang Yuyu was the last to get on. She stood by the car door, raising her phone to take a selfie. In the frame were her, Lu Chen, the excited faces of the whole class, and me standing motionless in the distance. She deliberately included me in the shot. Her social media feed was updated soon after, the last departure before the college entrance exam. Some choose fear, we choose the stars and the sea. The likes below were rapidly increasing. I glanced at it, saved the picture, then turned off my phone and went into the classroom to study. The first day after they left, the class group chat became much quieter. On the second day, the group started spamming pictures like crazy. "Jupiter is so breathtaking, who understands? It really feels like a god is standing outside the window. Europa's ice is blue. The low gravity in the observation cabin is amazing. I jumped and almost hit the ceiling." "Shunyan, you really missed out by not coming." Lu Chen also posted a photo. In the photo, Wang Yuyu sits inside a transparent dome restaurant, with the massive Jupiter behind her and a translucent blue seashell in front of her. When the shell opens, the flesh inside glows with a cold light. Lu Chen's caption, "Some scenery can never be seen by those who dare not set out." I didn't give a like. On the third day, they started live-streaming themselves eating seafood. The lighting in Europa's Ice Sea restaurant was dim, but the tabletops shone brightly like the ocean floor. Service robots brought up dish after dish. The ice shrimp is encased in a transparent ice sphere. The bluegill clam is sliced thin and arranged into a floral shape. The shell of the deep-sea fluorescent crab emits a pale purple glow. The chilled algae soup is topped with silver foam. Wang Yuyu exaggeratedly closed her eyes in front of the camera. "So fresh, it's really completely different from Earth's seafood. I feel like my whole being has been purified." The classmates joined in the teasing. "Eat this before the exam, and you'll pass with flying colors. May Europa bless me with a perfect 140 in math." "Shunyan, come out and see the cosmic seafood." Someone mentioned me in the group chat. I didn't reply. By the fourth day, some people in the video already looked a bit off. A guy was holding his stomach, saying he might have played in low gravity for too long and felt a bit dizzy. Another girl said she couldn't sleep at night. The artificial day-night cycle felt too fake. Someone mentioned the chilled algae soup tasted strange, and their stomach kept gurgling after drinking it. Wang Yuyu said with a smile, "This is called opening up the body. Premium ingredients are all like this. Uncomfortable at first, but you'll get used to it and feel better later." Lu Chen chimed in beside them. "Don't scare yourself. The college entrance exam is all about mindset, and we're in great shape right now." On the 5th day, they began their return journey. The group chat had far fewer messages. Occasionally, someone would send a message, "My head is spinning. The spaceship food is disgusting. I feel like throwing up. I've had an upset stomach since last night." Someone immediately suppressed it. "Don't say such unlucky things. The exam is coming up. It's all in my head, just come back and get some sleep." Wang Yuyu posted a selfie. She used heavy filters, but her face still looked pale. "Everyone, don't panic. Travel fatigue is normal. We'll arrive on Earth early tomorrow morning. Get some good rest, then return to school during the day for the pre-exam briefing." Lu Chen followed up, "Don't let Xu Nian's conservative mindset affect you. Coming out this time was the right decision. I'm working through an old practice exam." When I read this sentence, I put down my pen. This one was also saved. On the early morning before the college entrance exam, they returned to Earth. It wasn't the school that picked them up. Parents waited overnight at Star Harbor. It happened to rain that day. Someone posted a few photos in the class group chat. Students dragged their luggage out, the glow from their departure gone from their faces. Someone is wrapped in a blanket, someone is leaning on their parents, someone is crouching beside a trash can, vomiting. The travel agency staff smile is stiff, repeatedly insisting it's a normal reaction to the return journey. Mild dizziness, nausea, and fatigue after long-distance interstellar travel are common adaptation symptoms. Mild, this word is so useful. Lu Chen didn't post on moments. Wang Yuyu didn't have one either. The group chat remained silent the entire day. During the day, the school arranged pre-exam reminders. The homeroom teacher stood at the podium, scanning the entire class. Out of the 39 people scheduled to travel, 27 came. The remaining 12 took leave. Their reasons were neatly written: travel fatigue, mild stomach discomfort, adjust rest. Wang Yuyu arrived. She was wearing a mask, with dark circles under her eyes that even foundation couldn't conceal. Lu Chen has also arrived. He kept pressing his temples. With a bottle of electrolyte water on the table, the homeroom teacher looked at them, his expression frighteningly grim. "The college entrance exam is tomorrow. No problem solving today, just discipline. Double-check your admission ticket, ID card, and exam supplies tonight. Keep your meals light. Get some rest early." He paused at this point. "Stop making trouble." No one spoke in the classroom. Wang Yuyu lowered her head, her fingers clenched until they turned white. Suddenly, the girl sitting behind her slumped onto the desk. The homeroom teacher immediately stopped. "What's wrong?" The girl raised her head, her face deathly pale. "Teacher, my stomach hurts." The classroom erupted in commotion. Wang Yuyu turned around, her voice tense. "Don't scare us like that. Did you not eat breakfast properly?" The girl shook her head. "It started a bit on the spaceship." She didn't finish her sentence, covering her mouth as she rushed out of the classroom. The homeroom teacher's expression completely changed. I sat in the last row, quietly watching this scene. If it were before, I would definitely have stood up, reminded them to go to the infirmary, reminded the homeroom teacher to tally the symptoms, remind parents to take them for a checkup. Then they got annoyed with me. This time, I put the water cup back on the table without touching it. I'm not a doctor, not the invigilator, not their guardian. The teachers will handle it, the medical staff will handle it, the parents will handle it. I won't rush forward anymore to take on responsibilities that aren't mine to bear. The homeroom teacher called the school nurse as the girl was being helped away. Lu Chen suddenly looked at me. There was an indescribable irritation in his gaze, as if none of this was my fault, yet I was still the one who should be held responsible. After class, he stopped me. "Xu Nian." I tried to walk around him. He grabbed my wrist. "Did you know this would happen all along?" I looked down at his hand. "Let go." He didn't. "You used to check everything before. Why not this time?" I looked up at him. "Didn't you say you didn't need it?" Lu Chen's Adam's apple bobbed. "I didn't mean it that way." "Then what did you mean?" He lowered his voice. "You could have at least given me a heads up." I laughed. I reminded you, when I opened the class group chat and pulled up that message to show him. Interstellar travel before the college entrance exam is at your own risk. I won't participate, nor will I comment on anyone's choices. Lu Chen's expression changed. I withdrew my hand. Lu Chen, I'm not your safety officer, nor is Wang Yuyu the scapegoat. He froze in place. I turned and walked away. On the first day of the Gaokao, the weather was beautifully clear. Barricades were set up outside the exam venue, with parents crowded at the entrance holding water, chocolates, cooling oil, and backup exam admission tickets. In previous years, most examinees would look nervous at this time, but our class was different. Among the 39 students heading out, half of them had unusual expressions. Someone has dark circles under their eyes, someone keeps yawning, someone is clutching their stomach, someone is holding antidiarrheal medicine in their hand. Wang Yuyu was wearing her favorite white dress, with her hair beautifully tied up, only her lips were devoid of color. Her mother kept cheering her on from the side. Yuyu, don't be afraid, you're just too nervous, just go in. This trip has broadened your horizons, so you'll definitely have something to write about in your essay. Wang Yuyu nodded, but her gaze drifted away. Lu Chen stood beside her, beads of sweat forming on his forehead. He saw me and seemed about to say something. I had already turned and entered the passageway on the other side. Students with guaranteed admission don't need to take the college entrance exam, but the school assigned me and several recommended students to volunteer at the exam site, helping guide candidates, hand out water, and maintain order. I sat in the lounge, with the window facing the teaching building. The first subject, Chinese, began when the bell rang. The entire exam site fell silent as if sealed off. I poured a cup of warm water. Steam slowly rose upwards. 20 minutes later, the first student was helped out. It wasn't someone from our class. 30 minutes later, the second one. It's from our class. The boy had one hand clutching his stomach and the other supporting himself against the wall, his face as pale as paper. The invigilator followed beside him, asking in a hushed voice, "Can you still hold on?" He shook his head, then nodded, and finally crouched by the corridor and vomited. The medical teacher rushed over immediately. The teachers in the lounge all turned pale. "Which class are you from?" "Class 1, grade 12. My hand holding the water cup didn't move. Soon the third one was helped out, the fourth one, the fifth one. Someone has abdominal pain, someone has a low-grade fever, someone feels dizzy, someone's hands are shaking so badly they can't even hold a pen. Others aren't in too much pain to write, but they keep looking up at the clock every few minutes. The more they look, the more anxious they become, the more panicked you are, the more your stomach twists. In the end, the essay was only half a page long, stopping abruptly mid-sentence. When the first ambulance entered the exam site, the parents outside still didn't know what was happening. By the time the second one arrived, chaos had already erupted beyond the cordon. Someone called out their child's name, someone called the homeroom teacher, someone demanded an explanation from the school leadership. The homeroom teacher stood at the door of the examination office, face pale with anger. He held the list, checking it over and over again. Traveling to Europa, also, or, no one dared to answer. 15 minutes before the Chinese language exam ended, Wang Yuyu came out. She didn't walk out on her own, she was helped out by 2 proctors. Her white dress was terribly wrinkled, her hair disheveled, and her face completely devoid of color. She spoke through her tears. "My essay, I didn't finish my essay, I had it all planned out clearly." My hands wouldn't stop shaking. When her mother rushed past the police line, she was nearly out of her mind. "Yuyu, how could this happen? Was the exam room's air conditioning too cold? Was there something wrong with the school's food?" No one answered her because Wang Yuyu didn't eat at school this morning at all. She ate dried Arctic shellfish meat brought back from Europa, said it was for good luck. Lu Chen came out later than her. He forced himself to finish the Chinese exam, but when he came out, he immediately leaned on the railing and crouched down. When his answer sheet was sent out for review, the invigilator whispered, "He misaligned the multiple choice answers." Lu Chen froze upon hearing these words. The next second, he abruptly raised his head to look at me. Across the entire corridor, his gaze was terrifyingly dark. I knew exactly what he was thinking. He wanted to ask me why I didn't stop him. Why didn't you remind him? Why was it that Xunyan, who would always check all the risks for him and shield him from all troubles, truly did nothing this time. I looked at him, didn't dodge. Lu Chen suddenly stood up and took 2 steps toward me. The homeroom teacher stopped him abruptly. Lu Chen, what are you doing? Lu Chen's voice was terribly hoarse. She knows. Everyone looked at me. He pointed at me. She must have known this would happen. She used to check everything. This time she deliberately didn't say anything. The air went quiet for a moment. Wang Yoyo's mother also looked at me. Her gaze seemed to have finally found an exit. Xunyan, did you know there was something wrong with this trip? Why didn't you remind them? Before I could speak, the homeroom teacher spoke first. She did remind them. Wang Yoyo's mother froze. The homeroom teacher took out her phone and opened the group chat history. Before departure, Xunyan clearly stated in the class group chat that any risks associated with interstellar travel before the college entrance exam would be borne by the individual. The school also informed parents in the parent group that travel before the college entrance exam was not recommended. All participating students had parental signatures. The organizer is Wang Yuyu. The student representative signatory is Lu Chen. With every word spoken, Wang Yoyo's mother grew paler. Lu Chen's lips moved. She used to prepare the risk assessment forms. The homeroom teacher suddenly turned his head. He looked at Lu Chen, losing his temper in front of everyone for the first time. Why should she always be the one to prepare the risk assessment forms for you? The hallway fell completely silent. The homeroom teacher's voice grew heavy. You're not elementary school students anymore. You obtained the parents' signatures yourselves. The itinerary was reported by you yourselves. The contract was confirmed by you yourselves. Before departure, I asked 3 times, and each of you said you were volunteering. Now that something has gone wrong, are you suddenly blaming someone who wasn't even involved? Lu Chen's face was pale and lifeless. Wang Yu suddenly burst into tears. But if she had really tried to stop us, we might not have gone. That sentence was so familiar. She used to blame me for stopping her. Now she blames me for not stopping her. I finally laughed. Everyone was looking at me. I said, Wang Yu, so you do realize that stopping you was actually useful? Her sobbing paused abruptly. I took a step forward. When I warned you, you said I was being a killjoy. If I don't remind you, you'll say I'm being intentional. If I stop you, you blame me for ruining your momentum. I stepped aside, and you blame me for not pulling you back from the edge of the pit. I looked at her, and also at Lu Chen. Do you actually want freedom? Or do you want someone who can take the blame for you at any time? No one spoke. The homeroom teacher looked at Wang Yu. So you knew back then that someone needed to stop this? Wang Yoyo's sobs caught in her throat. Everyone in the hallway was staring at her. 1 moment ago, she was the victim. The next, she became the one who knowingly took the risk and dragged the entire class into it. This isn't over yet. The grade director arrived quickly. He was holding printed travel documents in his hand. Wang Yoyo's parents. Have Lu Chen's parents arrived? Someone in the crowd responded. The grade director spread out the documents. This is the travel agency's trip confirmation. Organizer Wang Yu, student volunteer travel representative. Lu Chen. It is clearly written here. I have read the travel agency's risk warning and confirm that I have conveyed it to my fellow classmates. The color drained from Lu Chen's face. His mother rushed over and snatched the document. After seeing the signature clearly, her whole body swayed slightly. Lu Chen, why did you sign this? Lu Chen opened his mouth but couldn't utter a single word because he couldn't very well say that he was just trying to back up Wang Yu. Nor could he admit that he hadn't even properly read those few lines of fine print. Before the math exam began, 7 students were absent. Those who forced their way into the exam hall didn't fare much better either. Someone collapsed halfway through. Someone's scratch paper was filled with chaotic numbers, yet they didn't even copy down the final answer. Someone applied to go to the restroom due to stomach pain and wasted 20 minutes by the time they returned. Lu Chen sat in the examination hall, his palms sweating the entire time. He usually excels in math, but that day, looking at the first big question, his mind felt like it was stuffed with a wad of wet cotton. It wasn't that he didn't know how, it was that he did know, but every time he reached the 3rd step, his mind felt as if it had been hollowed out from the middle. All those formulas he knew so well he could write them with his eyes closed were left unfinished on the scratch paper. When the exam ended, he was still sitting there. The invigilator reminded him to hand in his paper. He He suddenly snapped back to reality. The last page of the answer sheet was mostly blank. Wang Yuyu didn't take the math exam, she was sent to the hospital. The test results will be out soon. Acute gastroenteritis, dehydration, travel fatigue, suspected dietary irritation. On the same day, our class's parent group chat exploded. Some people cursed the travel agency, some people cursed the Wang family, someone criticized the school for not forcefully intervening, someone dug out the contract and only then realized the disclaimer was clearly stated. The travel agency had already informed in advance. Short-term dizziness, nausea, sleep disturbances, gastrointestinal discomfort, and other individual adaptation reactions may occur after interstellar travel, exam impacts resulting from the traveler's personal constitution and dietary choices are not covered by compensation. Below is the parent's signature. Student's signature, organizer's confirmation signature, Wang Yuyu, Lu Chen. Each piece of paper with black ink on white, like a slap across the face. After English class on the third day, the entire grade knew about it. Class 1, Senior Year 3 went to Europa for seafood before the exam, but half of them got sick. I heard Wang Yuyu didn't finish the Chinese composition. Lu Chen left 2 math problems unanswered. Didn't Xunyan from their class not go? She got a direct admission. I heard she also warned that the risks were on your own. Then who else is to blame? Who else can be blamed? In the past life, they blamed me because I stopped them. In this life, they still want to blame me, but this time, all the evidence is there. Group chat records, parent's signature. The school does not recommend notification. Travel agency's liability disclaimer. Wang Yoyo's social media circle. Lu Chen's saying, some scenery can never be seen by those who dare not set out. They pave the way with their own hands, buy the tickets themselves, board the train themselves, take the photo yourself, put the ice sea clam meat into your mouth yourself. No one pushed them, nor did anyone stop them. On the day the college entrance exam ended, fireworks went off outside the school. Some people cried, some laughed, some held up their admission tickets above their heads, but our class was eerily quiet. Wang Yuyu didn't come. Lu Chen has arrived, his lost weight, his eyes sunken, standing in the crowd. Like a piece of wood softened by rain, he walks up to me. Xunyan. I stop, his voice is very low. Have you been wanting to laugh at us all along? I look at him. No. His eyes turned red. Then why are you so calm? I thought for a moment, because I've already seen it once. Lu Chen frowned, he didn't understand. I didn't intend to explain either, he suddenly said hoarsely. If you had explained the risks clearly that day, the homeroom teacher would definitely have stopped it. I nodded. Right. He froze. I said, that's why I won't say it anymore. The color drained from Lu Chen's face bit by bit. I continued. Lu Chen, didn't you all hate it when I interfered? Didn't you say I was too controlling? Didn't you say I was a killjoy? This time, I'll respect your wishes. His lips trembled. Xunyan, how did you become like this? I smiled faintly. I've just finally learned to stop living for others. In the distance, Wang Yoyo's mother was arguing with the homeroom teacher. Her voice was shrill. The school clearly knew they were going out before the college entrance exams. So why didn't you stop them forcefully? The exhausted homeroom teacher pulled out the parental consent form. The school is not the guardian. We have clearly advised against it. This is a voluntary trip arranged by parents. Wang Yuyu is the organizer and initiator. Lu Chen is the student representative confirmant. Wang Yoyo's mother suddenly fell silent. She saw the line at the very top of the form. Class voluntary trip organizer, Wang Yuyu. Below is Wang Yoyo's own signature. The handwriting is beautiful, just like every selfie in her social media feed. But this time, it's no longer a halo, it's about responsibility. On the day the results were released, I didn't go to school. I checked my scores on my phone. Even though I had already secured a spot through recommendation, I still took a few mock assessment exams. The scores didn't matter. The real buzz was in the class group chat. The once most active members had fallen silent. Wang Yoyo's avatar remained grayed out. Lu Chen didn't speak either. Someone secretly sent me the grades. Wang Yuyu barely made it into an ordinary second-tier university. Lu Chen scored over 80 points lower than usual. Out of the 39 students in our class who applied to Europa, 26 performed significantly below expectations. The few who remained standing also performed below their usual level due to sleep and condition issues. Of the 2 classmates who didn't go, 1 exceeded expectations, while the other steadily succeeded. They are not geniuses, they simply didn't exhaust themselves in the week before the college entrance exam. At night, Lu Chen called me. I didn't answer. He sent a long message. Xunyan, I know I spoke too harshly before, but you're really too cruel, comma. You could have saved us just once, comma. You knew we would get into trouble, comma. Why can't you be like before? I stared at the words just like before, my fingers pausing for a long time just like before. The old Xunyan, who stayed up all night researching, was scolded for being a killjoy. The old Xunyan, who shielded them from risks, was blamed for ruining the mood. The former Xunyan, who was pushed off the rooftop by him during the graduation banquet, still couldn't figure out what she had done wrong until the very last second. I didn't reply, just blocked him. I didn't attend the graduation banquet that day. The homeroom teacher messaged me, saying it's fine if I don't go. He said he's been exhausted teaching this year's students. I replied with a thank you for your hard work, teacher. At 10 p.m., someone posted photos of a graduation banquet in their social media feed. Not as lively as the previous life. Wang Yuyu didn't smile. Lu Chen sat in the corner. There was an indescribable awkwardness among the classmates. Once they could blame me together, blame me for stopping them, blame me for spoiling the fun, blame me for ruining their mood. But in this life, I wasn't at the dinner table. They could no longer pin their failures on someone who wasn't there. I heard that halfway through the dinner, an argument broke out. A girl cried while confronting Wang Yuyu. Wasn't it you who said there wouldn't be any problems? Wasn't it you who said coming back would be the perfect timing for peak condition? My mom originally wouldn't let me go, but it was your mom who said in the group chat that the travel agency was reliable. Another boy's eyes also reddened. Lu Chen, when you signed as the student representative, didn't you say you'd take responsibility if anything happened? Lu Chen smashed a cup. Wang Yuyu cried, saying she meant well, but this time, no one gathered around her anymore. Kindness can't retake the exam for them. Tears can't correct the wrong answers on the answer sheet. Late at night, the homeroom teacher sent me a photo. It was the rooftop door of the graduation banquet hotel. The door was locked. The hotel has a new rule this year. During the Gaokao gratitude banquets, the rooftop is not open to students. I stared at that photo for a long time. In my previous life, that's where the accident happened. In this life, the door is locked. I am alive. They are alive too. It's just that everyone has received the outcome they deserved. The night outside the window is very deep. I turned on the computer and organized the documents folder. Inside were the class group chat records. There was Wang Yoyo's social media feed. There is a photo of the parent signed confirmation form. There are private messages with Lu Ken. There is a travel contract disclaimer clause. Every file name is clearly labeled, not for revenge, but to remind myself, never again be that Xunyan who carries others' lives on her shoulders. For many years afterward, I still remembered that cup of warm water on the first day of the college entrance exams. Outside the examination hall, chaos erupted. An ambulance rushed in. Parents were crying and shouting. Teachers were running. Lu Chen looked at me across the corridor, his eyes asking why I didn't save him, but I just tightened the lid of my cup. In my past life, I saved them once. They said I ruined them. This life, I stepped aside. Only then did they realize what lay ahead was not a sea of stars, it was the icy abyss they had chosen themselves. Listen to the next story. On the day of the college entrance exam, Han Wan, the school beauty, lost her admission ticket. Her boyfriend, Xu Qian, actually took the lead in inciting the entire class to boycott the exam, using this to threaten the school into letting Han Wan enter and take the test. In my past life, I was kind-hearted. After finding out, I contacted the lead teacher and parents while also persuading them to come back with me. I even urged Han Wan to go ahead and take the exam first, saying that the reissued ticket could be retrieved before the end, but she wouldn't listen. She stubbornly stood outside the school, insisting on waiting until the ticket was in her hands before she would go in. In the end, her score was dozens of points lower than usual. She failed the exam and had to hastily get married. Years later, at a class reunion, my former classmates, now elites in various industries, looked at Hanwan's down-and-out state with pity in their eyes. They attributed all her life's misfortunes to that college entrance exam and blamed everything on me. They put cephalosporin in my drink and staged it to look like a suicide now, reborn into this life, as I watch Han WN rummage through her things frantically again. I swallow the words that were about to leave my lips. Strange. My admission ticket is missing. Han WN turned all the pockets on her clothes inside out but still couldn't find it. Her pleading eyes looked toward Shu Qian beside her. Could it be left in the room, or forgotten in someone's bag? Let's go back up and help you look for it. A crowd of people swarmed into their rooms to search, but in the end, they still couldn't find it. Han WN crouched on the ground and burst into loud sobs. It's over. If I can't take the exam, my mom will kill me. Since I'm going to die anyway, I might as well jump from this building and be done with it. As she said this, she started running toward the window, and the surrounding classmates hurried to stop her. I don't really want to die, I'm just in a bad mood. We agreed to go to the same university, and now, actually, even if her admission ticket weren't lost, she wouldn't have been able to go to the same school as us. Our class was the top-tier class, gathering the best talents from the entire city. With everyone's scores consistently above 650 technically, Han Wan's score of over 300 shouldn't have allowed her to be placed in our class, but during one exam, Shu Qian helped her openly cheat, although the teacher found out afterward. By then Han WN had already been admitted, and everything could only be dealt with later. Whenever there was an exam, the whole class would play along with her antics, turning in blank papers, which forced the homeroom teacher to let her stay in the class this time. They probably thought they could pull the same trick again. But this wasn't school. No one would indulge their childish temper tantrums. The classmates all fell silent. No one knew how to comfort her. Shu Qian jumped out from the crowd. Wanwan, don't panic. Losing an admission ticket isn't a big deal. I have a plan. Han WN immediately asked what the plan was, and the latter chuckled. Everyone here right now is the elite of the whole school. The school is counting on us to meet this year's enrollment targets. If we just don't show up, the school will find out and naturally figure something out, whether it's bribing the invigilators or going to the education bureau. In the end, they'll definitely let you back in to take the exam. What he meant was to have the whole class accompany Han WAN. As long as the exam site didn't relent and let her in, they would never show up at the test center, putting all the pressure on the lead teacher. He didn't stop to think that this was the college entrance exam, the fairest and most just exam in the country. No one could challenge its authority. Trying to achieve their goal with such a method was utterly absurd. Someone raised a doubt. What if the school can't do anything about it either? We can't really. You're stupid. Our scores are among the best in the province. Those leaders care most about face and are counting on us to bring them glory. How could they possibly abandon us? Even if they really don't give in, just with the remaining subjects, we could still get into a good university, and we can always retake the exam, so we can spend another year with Wanwan. Yeah, we're the provincial top scorers. How could the school really ignore us? They'll definitely find a way. Maybe if we don't show up, they won't dare start the exam either. After all, the remaining students' scores aren't that great. Our mock exam scores are so high that Qingbei University has already taken notice of us. I heard they've reserved spots for us. Maybe we can even threaten them. If they don't admit Wanwan on special terms, we'll go to other schools. Laughter and chatter filled the air around them. They were all lost in their own fantasies. It was at this moment in my past life that I heard their absurd ideas. I quickly pulled out my phone to contact the teachers and parents, which allowed them to take the exam normally and later pursue studies at the nation's top institutions. But after they achieved fame and success, they blamed me for what I did back then. Back then, teacher did indeed help Han WN reissue the admission ticket. She could have gone into the exam first, but she insisted on standing there waiting. That was her own choice. What does it have to do with me? Wanwan felt we abandoned her, and her mood dropped, which is why she didn't do well. If you hadn't meddled, she would have entered the exam hall with us, gotten into university together, studied under our care, and how could she have rushed into marriage? This is all your fault. after I died, they faked a suicide scene and pinned my scientific research achievements on Han Wn, making her famous overnight. Before, Dr. Zhao Yutong had been plagiarizing my work and threatening me, saying if I didn't do as she said, she'd kill my daughter. Luckily, not long ago, she had a change of heart and committed suicide out of guilt, which allowed me to stand before everyone. The classmates who had once received favors from me also stepped up one after another to accuse me of my crimes. In high school, she always liked to bully Wanwan. I didn't expect that after all these years. She still hasn't changed. If it weren't for her tampering during the college entrance exam, Han Wan would have graduated from Tsinghua or Peking University just like us. Everyone. Don't say that. Although Sister Yutong did go a bit too far, if she hadn't coerced and lured me, I might have given up on scientific research long ago. For that, I still have to thank her. At this point, my reputation was completely ruined. Not only was I expelled from the industry, but even universities hurriedly revoked my diploma. My parents were also implicated, especially my mother, who was my high school homeroom teacher. She was splashed with dirty water, falsely accused of physically punishing students and taking bribes. She had lived an upright life for half a century, but I destroyed her reputation. In the end, she had to resign, and because she was immersed in the grief of losing her child, she was dazed all day. When she went out for a walk with my father, someone poured gasoline on them from behind and set them ablaze, leaving only ashes. It took the lives of my entire family for me to understand what it means to respect others' fates, so in this life, I decided not to tell them that admission tickets could be reissued. I let them fend for themselves, picked up my bag, and prepared to sneak away. Just as one foot left the ground, I heard Han Wn call me. "Where's Zhao Yutong?" Everyone's eyes fell on me simultaneously. Seeing my movements, Xu Qian frowned deeply. He walked quickly to me and demanded, "What are you doing?" My voice was devoid of any emotion. "Going to take the exam." "What?" He seemed surprised by what I said. "Say that again." "I said I'm going to take the college entrance exam. If you're willing to give it up for Han Wn, that's your business. I don't care, and likewise, you can't control me." "Zhao Yutong, how can you be like this? This is about whether Wanwan can take the exam. Aren't you going to help her?" "Yeah, we're all classmates. Just stay. One more person means one more chance of success. Zhao Yutong, if you leave now, you're betraying this class. Do you like being so different? Why can't you just be like everyone else?" They stared at me as if I were an enemy, as if I didn't agree and dared to make another move, they would rush up and skin me alive. "Yutong, don't cause trouble. If you leave, won't all our plans fall through? What about Han Wn?" Seeing that tough talk didn't work, Xu Qian softened his voice and tried to negotiate with me. I walked up to him, looked at that familiar face, and felt a pang in my heart. He and I had grown up together, and I really did have a secret crush on him for years. Just like in the TV shows, I had planned to confess after the college entrance exam. But from the first day Han Wn transferred here, they hit it off. Or maybe it was even earlier, and I just didn't know. After that, I intentionally kept my distance from them, hiding my feelings deep in my heart and telling no one. But after I died, they found my diary and concluded that because my crush wasn't reciprocated, I was jealous of Han Wan and deliberately caused her to mess up the exam. To show his loyalty to Han Wan, Xu Qian spread the contents of my diary and even posted on social media, saying that being liked by someone like me made him sick. So, in this second life, I was determined to cure my blindness. I threw away the notebook and ignored this crazy couple. "Zhao Yutong, why are you standing so close to me?" Xu Qian suddenly recoiled, afraid I might touch him. Looking at the several meters of distance between us, I rolled my eyes in exasperation. "Xu Qian, to make sure Han Wn can take the exam smoothly, you've made everyone stay here and wait for the school to figure something out. But how can you be so sure the school will help us?" He looked at me as if I were an idiot. "Just because we're the top students in the entire city. Without us, who's going to bring glory to the school? The principal's not brain dead. There's no way he'd just sit back and do nothing. Besides, haven't we pulled this trick before? Tell me, when has it ever failed?" Back in sophomore year, when the school split into arts and science tracks, Han Wan insisted on choosing arts. To stay in the same class as her, they proposed to the principal that Han Wan stay in their science class, and when arts lessons came up, a teacher could come to the classroom to teach her individually. And what about you? You're a science class, aren't you, principal? You know our abilities. If it weren't for our age and lack of credentials, we could be teachers ourselves. While the arts teacher gives Han Wan her lesson, we can just study on our own. The whole class feels we learn better on our own than when the teacher lectures, no matter how much they argued. The principal wouldn't agree, so they simply threw a fit, refused to compete in contests, skipped award ceremonies, talked back in class. With no other choice, the school had to give in. Over the next 2 years, they perfected this tactic, so whenever a problem arose, it was the first thing that came to mind. But they forgot, this wasn't school, this was the college entrance exam, and it wouldn't tolerate their nonsense. Oh, so in the end, all you're relying on is your good grades. You think you're destined for greatness, that no one else matters. You believe the school can't function without you, that Qingbei and Peking University are losing a treasure without you, that even the college entrance exam has to make way for you. Don't get me wrong, your grades are impressive, always in the top 100 of the city. But have you forgotten how many provinces and cities there are in this country? Here, you're called top students, but nationwide, plenty of people are better than you. You're overestimating yourselves. I let the words slip out slowly. I hadn't planned to say so much. But thinking about all the effort that went into shaping our dazzling results, I felt for the teachers who'd stayed up late with red eyes. I wanted to give them one last piece of advice. Some people were already wavering. She's got a point. No, high school has plenty of good students too. They always tie with us in exams. Maybe we should just head to the exam center. What if it's really too late? Everyone started chattering. Most felt this plan was too risky. Tang, I know you don't like me, but you can't just talk nonsense. Everyone knows how strong our school's top class has been over the years. The homeroom teacher even said we might break the school record for Qingbei admissions. No exaggeration. Everyone here is a future top scorer in the college entrance exam. Who would dare mess with that? Besides, we're all smart. Even if we don't get into college, we'll land decent jobs. Han Wan, if you really cared about them, you wouldn't let them stay here for you. Hearing my sarcasm, tears streamed down her face, her voice choked as she spoke. You all go take the exam. Don't worry about me. It's my fault I lost my admission ticket. I should bear the consequences. I'm sorry. I was being selfish. I thought this way we'd definitely end up at the same university. But I never considered your feelings. Everyone exchanged glances. No one dared to leave. Zhao Yutang, why are you such a killjoy? Everyone's willing to give everything for Wanwan. And here you are butting in. Oh, I get it. Your mom's our homeroom teacher. Are you afraid that if we don't take the exam, she won't get her bonus? Don't be so greedy. We've won so many awards over these 3 years. Your mom did nothing and still got all that recognition. Now you're trying to make us abandon a classmate for money. Do you think everyone's as heartless as you? Those words froze the people who had been about to leave. They seemed to believe Shu Qian completely, convinced I was only persuading them for the bonus. A man's heart is never satisfied. A snake tries to swallow an elephant. His mom took so much money and still isn't content. Like mother, like daughter, this scene dragged me back to my past life. My mom was slandered the same way. She spent half her life teaching, treating students like her own children, buying them watermelon and popsicles in summer, knitting scarves by hand in winter, standing up for their rights against injustice without fear of authority. When we entered senior year, afraid we'd be too stressed, she often slept at school so we'd always have someone to turn to. She gave so much. Yet they still complained she was only in it for the bonus. Every time the school gave her a bonus, she used it to improve their meals, and the rest she wrapped into little red envelopes for them. He had always believed that this was something the kids had earned, even though they had their own rewards. He still wanted to give his share to them. Ignoring them, I picked up my bag and prepared to leave, but Han Wan suddenly called out to me, "Yu Tang, come to Qingbei with us." What? She blushed with a coy smile. Everyone just said they'd take me to Qingbei. Haven't you heard of that news? To recruit a student. They brought in his girlfriend who didn't have enough points. They're so high-scoring, they can definitely bring us both along. Sometimes I really wonder if they have any brains. That incident did happen, but the girlfriend was only a few points below the admission threshold. This guy, he's hundreds of points off. Anyway, with your grades, you can't get in. You'll struggle through the college entrance exam and end up at some ordinary school. You might as well stay with us. My grades were indeed not enough for Qingbei. I could only aim for some 985 universities, but that's hardly ordinary. No, thanks. I glanced at my watch. It was almost too late. Stop right there. If you go back, you'll snitch to your mom. You're not leaving. Before I could react, Shu Qian rushed over and snatched my documents. Give it back. You better behave. I knew it. You insisted on going back just to tattle. A thin layer of sweat broke out on my forehead. I pleaded. I swear I won't say a word, just give me back my stuff. Your business has nothing to do with me. I just want to go take the exam. I jumped up, reaching for the documents, but Shu Qian lifted his leg, and I crashed hard to the ground. Blood started streaming from my nose. Seeing how stubborn he was, I could only repeat what I had said in my past life. The admission ticket can be reissued. If we go now, we should still make it. They froze for 2 seconds. Then the crowd burst into laughter. Ha ha ha, Zhao Yutang, you'd even tell such a lie just to go back and snitch. Your mom already told us, the admission ticket has to be kept safe. If you lose it, you can't take the exam, and you're trying to fool us with that. No, really, I'm not lying, just go check for yourselves. I spoke with all sincerity, but no one listened. They were all convinced I was lying. Suddenly, my phone in the bag rang loudly. Shu Qian swiped to answer. Yutang, where are you guys? The exam is about to start. I wanted to speak, to scream for help, but the second before the call connected, 2 classmates voluntarily stepped forward and covered my mouth. Teacher Yang, it's Shu Qian. I need to tell you something. After Shu Qian finished speaking, he hung up. I collapsed weakly to the ground, gasping for breath. Soon, everyone's phones started buzzing. No one answered. They were all busy amusing Han Wn, as if they had completely forgotten that today was the exam that would decide their futures. Shu Qian checked the time, glanced at his phone, and his face turned ashen. Everyone, come over, stop messing around. As long as you have your ID, the admission ticket can be reissued. Shu Qian shot me a glare, then kicked me over. I curled up in pain, just like mother, just like daughter. You two even tell the exact same lies. He furiously typed on his phone, fire in his eyes. My mom was desperately explaining on the other end, but he wouldn't listen, stubbornly demanding an answer. Mom got angry and replied, "This is absolutely impossible. If you don't come back now, you'll miss the college entrance exam." But Shu Qian didn't care at all. He even had the leisure to organize a poker game for everyone. Maybe he was worried the hotel wasn't safe. After all, the teacher would easily guess we were there. So he led us away, heading toward the outskirts. Along the way, everyone chatted and laughed, celebrating their victory in advance. The noisy group of students hiking soon caught the attention of others. Someone took a picture of the scene and posted it online, asking which school's students were on a trip. A frantic parent, desperately searching for a solution, happened to see it. He immediately reported it to the homeroom teacher. As time ticked closer, if we didn't turn back now, it would truly be too late. People started checking their watches frequently. Some kept looking up, craning their necks to see how far they'd come. The group's pace slowed. Shu Qian and Han Wn, walking at the front, naturally noticed. "Classmates, we've come this far. It's just one last step. We can't give up now. I know you're worried. Even though no one has contacted us yet, I'm sure they're about to crack. Let's wait a little longer." These words did little to soothe anyone. An emotion called anxiety spread through the crowd. Though they said with their mouths that they could give everything for Han Wn, when it really came down to it, not a single person wasn't afraid. Does everyone still remember the song we sang together during the spring outing last time? Let's sing it. Han Wn started the lead-in. Rarely, no one echoed her. She could only sing a few lines by herself, the corners of her mouth involuntarily drooping downward. Hey, is that the sound of a police siren? I hear it too. It sounds like it's coming toward us. Could there be a murderer around here or something? Shu Qian quickly pulled out his phone. Only then did he find out that because our whereabouts were unknown, the parents had directly called the police. They were still just 10-something-year-old kids after all. Seeing this kind of scene, they couldn't help but be frightened. Everyone, calm down. If they're coming to find us at this time, it means they must have agreed, but no one showed the happiness they had imagined. I looked at the scenery unique to the outskirts, realizing that even if we left right now, it was already too late. Thank you, everyone, for fighting for me. I really love you all. Han Wan raised her hand in gratitude. No one was happy for her. Everyone picked up their phones and kept refreshing the screen. Stop talking. When can we leave? This was the first time someone other than me had made her lose face. Han Wan's expression turned very unpleasant. After the police cars arrived, Shu Qian pulled Han Wan into his arms, and the two of them squeezed forward together. Wan's grades aren't as good as everyone else's. Let her go first. Let her go back and take the exam. The rest of us can wait a little longer. This time, no one listened to her. They were all busy squeezing their way forward, afraid of being left behind. Fortunately, there were enough cars. Everyone rushed toward the school together. I checked the time. It was too late. The college entrance exam had already officially started when we got out of the car, so many students suddenly appearing outside the school campus caused quite a commotion. I heard someone nearby murmuring, "It really has started, and we're still out here." Shu Qian, what's the matter with you? Back then, you said you and your classmates would stay at a hotel together to study and learn from each other, so your mom and I agreed. Now you haven't even stepped into the exam hall. His father stepped forward, grabbed him by the ear, and demanded an explanation. The parents of the other classmates also surrounded them one by one, asking what had happened. Tang, are you okay? I looked up at my mother. In just this one morning, she seemed to have aged decades, her face full of worry. I'm fine. Did you not tell the other parents the reason? No, I found it too shameful. Since they did this, they have to bear the consequences. Dad, stop asking. I just accidentally woke up late. Shu Qian broke free from his father's grip. Can't you come up with a better excuse? Did the entire class wake up late together? Everyone remained silent. No one dared to admit what they had actually done. Han Wan didn't dare either. She knew in her heart that if the parents found out their children had skipped the college entrance exam for her, she would be beaten to death today, and it turned out just as she expected. Someone couldn't withstand their parents' relentless questioning and, steeling themselves, told the truth. A large group of people surged toward her, demanding an explanation. Those with hotter tempers directly grabbed whatever was at hand and threw it at her. Under the watch of so many people, my mother couldn't just stand by and watch a student get beaten. She symbolically reached out to block them. All right, there's no turning back now. Just prepare well for the afternoon exam. During lunch, everyone instinctively stayed away from Han Wan. She sat alone on a bench, and from my angle, I could clearly see her bending the chopsticks in her hand. On the way to the exam venue in the afternoon, there was none of the usual liveliness. Afraid that Han Wan and Shu Qian might cause more trouble, my mother made them take a separate bus. What we had missed in the morning wasn't just one exam. It had also likely disturbed our mental state. The 3 days passed in a flash. When we came out of the exam hall, the arrogance was gone from everyone's faces. Their spirited, high-spirited demeanor had vanished, never to return. The class group chat was as dead as still water. Han Wan occasionally sent a funny video or two, but everyone acted as if they hadn't seen it. Although the results weren't out yet, we had already heard that quite a few people were planning to retake the exam these days. They had tasted the cold and warmth of life. They had endured plenty of disdainful looks once. They were the darlings of heaven, pampered by their parents at home, valued by their teachers at school, always the other people's children that relatives talked about. This incident fermented online. Many netizens cursed them as brainless. Their parents resented them. Their teachers were completely disappointed in them. Even walking down the street, they could feel people pointing and whispering. They had never been treated like this before. Late at night, Han Wan sent a message. Are you blaming me? I'm sorry to you all. In this world, you're the only ones who've been good to me, and now because of me, you're Suffering scorn. I'll atone for this with my death right now. The attached photo was taken from a rooftop, showing both her feet already dangling over the edge. She did this simply because she'd recently noticed her classmates subtly distancing themselves. She was afraid they'd drift away completely, and she still hoped that when they made it big, they'd give her a hand up, so she used this tactic to grab everyone's attention, to make them realize their true feelings. That compared to a failed exam, she was the most important thing in their lives, but she underestimated the impact this had on everyone. They'd been bottling up their emotions all this time with no outlet, and Han WN had basically walked right into a firing line. Han WN, can you stop messing around? You're an adult, and all you talk about is suicide. Yeah, I do blame you. If it weren't for you, how could my mom have talked to me like that? If it weren't for you, how could I have bombed the exam so badly? If you really feel sorry for us, then make it up somehow. Don't expect us to come coddle you. Haven't we done enough for you? We gave up the most important exam just for you. Couldn't you think about us for once? My parents want me to repeat the year, but I know we have no money left. My grandma's on her last legs, and they were counting on me to get into a good university. Now look what's happened. You're all going too far. Did anyone stop you from leaving? You all went willingly. Shu Qian's words completely ignited everyone's fury. You've got some nerve. When Zhao Yutong first left, didn't you stop her? You said you were afraid she'd snitch. Well, what about us? If we left, weren't you scared? Wouldn't you have stopped us? I must have been brain dead. Throwing away my bright future for someone completely irrelevant. The homeroom teacher said we could reissue the admission ticket, but you two had to spin your conspiracy theories. The scene spiraled out of control. Everyone vented the grievances they'd been holding in for days, all directed at the two of them. Only Shu Qian occasionally fired back when things got too harsh. Aside from her first message, Han WN never showed herself again. They all thought she was too embarrassed to face everyone after being called out. Only I knew that was impossible. In my past life, she'd brazenly claimed my research results as her own, even saying I was the one who plagiarized her. Now, this was just a bunch of students venting impotent rage. She wouldn't be rattled by this. Maybe she was cooking up something big. I heard a noise from my mom's room, so I slipped out of bed to check. Mom, what's wrong? Why are you changing clothes in the middle of the night? My mom gave me a complicated look. Han Wan's parents just called. They said she's on the rooftop and won't come down. She's threatening suicide. I was stunned. After thinking it over for a long time, I decided to tell my classmates the news. By the time we arrived, Han Wan's mom was sitting on the ground, wailing, "Oh, why is my life so hard? Han WN, get down here right now. We can talk this out." Han WN had her back to us. I couldn't see her expression, only heard her muffled voice, as if she'd already been crying. "No, if I come down, you'll force me into marriage." Her mom slapped her thigh. "You stubborn girl, marriage and kids are natural. Your dad and I are doing this for your own good. You're not even good at studying, and you insist on repeating the year. In my opinion, it's better to just get married early. You don't know anything. If I go back and repeat the year, I can still be classmates with them. My life isn't ruined. They like me so much. They'll definitely help me." She looked left and right, as if searching for something. She pulled out her phone and swiped a few times, probably not seeing what she wanted. She let it drop from her hand. Then she turned to look at me. "Zhao Yutong, are you feeling smug now? They're all on your side now. This is all your fault. If you just told us earlier that we could reissue the admission ticket, would my relationship with them have ended up like this?" "Oh, I get it. You did it on purpose. You were jealous that they were good to me, so you set this whole trap to drive a wedge between us and get your revenge. Aren't you afraid of karma?" Watching her twist right and wrong like that, I could only feel it was laughable. In my past life, I'd spoken up, and it still hadn't ended well for me. Before I could respond, a voice came from behind me. "Han WN, that's enough." Her eyes lit up. "You came. I knew you wouldn't just abandon me like this." The classmates stood in a row, their eyes vacant, staring straight ahead. The failure of the college entrance exam, the disdain from their parents, the gossip from the neighbors, all of it had pushed them to the brink of collapse, so their tone was naturally far from kind. "Don't be mad at me anymore. I figured it out, it's that bitch Zhao Yutong, she did it on purpose. Grab her, quick. Chen Yan let out a helpless sigh. We didn't come here today to get justice for you. We came to say our final goodbyes. We've been thinking these past few days, if we're not on the same path, we were never meant to end up together. What do you mean? Did she say something? Weren't we fine just a few days ago? Han Wn pointed a finger at me. If it's about the college entrance exam, I can explain. Don't be like this, I'm scared. Zhao Yutong didn't say anything, we just figured it out on our own. Since we got to know you, we've done too many stupid things, and it's always been us giving while you take. Anyone would get tired of that. Impossible. It has to be that mother-daughter duo meddling again. Enough. Can you listen to what others have to say for once? You know how good teacher Yang has been to us. Before the exam, Yutong told us over and over that what we were doing was wrong and that we couldn't handle the consequences, but every time we thought about leaving, you'd start crying, playing pitiful, and even threatening suicide. What were we supposed to do? Everything that's happened to us is because of you. If you really want to die, then jump. They finished speaking one after another, turned around, and walked away without a trace of hesitation. Stop. If you dare to leave, I'll really jump. They paused for a moment, then continued walking forward. This time, they were truly determined. Han Wn realized they were serious. She stood up to chase after them, but her foot slipped, and she actually fell. Fortunately, the floor wasn't too high, and the trees broke her fall, saving her life, but she would spend the rest of her days in a wheelchair. Shu Qian came to visit her, with deep affection. He promised to stay with her for life. Just as they were about to kiss, he caught the smell of urine on her. Embarrassed, he coughed and said nothing at the time. But from then on, he never came back. He grew more and more impatient with her. And eventually, he cut off all contact. The college entrance exam results came out, more or less as everyone had expected. The scores were only enough for undergraduate programs. Most of them came from poor families and had to grit their teeth and go, while only a few chose to retake the exam. As for me, I was preparing to study abroad. Although my exam score wasn't high, I had participated in many competitions and placed decently, so I smoothly received my admission letter in my sophomore year. I heard from my mother that, whether due to psychological reasons or not, the group that retook the exam didn't do as well as before. At best, they could only get into a top-tier university, far from the Tsinghua and Peking University they had once aimed for. As for Shu Qian, something unexpected happened in his family. 5 years after his mother died, his father brought back a talented and virtuous child from outside to be the primary heir. Shu Qian was casually thrown into a foreign country to study, and I heard his father had already forbidden him from returning to China. In the first year of Han Wan's paralysis, her parents couldn't take it anymore and hastily married her off. As luck would have it, it was the same man from the previous life. It seemed that what was fated could not be avoided. Years later, they organized another class reunion, but I didn't attend this time. Back then, I valued friendship above all else. My well-intentioned warnings only led to my family's ruin. Now that I've stopped meddling, my own life has started to thrive. Sure enough, that saying is true: if you interfere in someone else's fate, you have to bear their karma.